Everyone, myself Ami Mehta, Indian Operating System. Let us understand what is the scheduling criteria, or we can say that the performance criteria of measuring of any scheduling. So these are the list of scheduling criteria or performance measure, that CPU utilization, throughput, turnaround time, waiting time, response time. Okay, so let us discuss the definition of one by one. So the first one, we can say it performance criteria also. So the first one is CPU utilization. So it is an average fraction of time for which CPU is busy. So basically it is the average amount of time for which duration CPU is busy. So it ranges from 0 to 100%. In the real system, it should be between 46 to 90%. So in real time application, in real system, it is 46 to 90% utilized. So CPU should remain as busy as possible, or CPU utilization should remain as high as possible. So if the value of CPU utilization is high, it means your system is performance very well. The next one is throughput. So the number of processes completed per time. For example, in some amount of time, total number of processes, for example 2, so 2 number of processes per time unit is called throughput. So number of processes completed per time unit is called throughput. For long processes, this rate may be 1 process per hour. For short transaction, throughput might be 10 processes per second. So it depends on the length of the process, whether it is a long or whether it is a short transaction, short duration, etc. Okay. So the next one is turnaround time. So the time required to complete execution of process is called turnaround time. So a complete for execution of process. For example, process P1 is starting from here and is ending at this point. So this whole time duration is called turnaround time. It specifies that how long it takes to complete a process execution. So turnaround time is equal to, this is the most IMP equation, or this is the most IMP thing that we very useful while we are understanding scheduling algorithms. So the turnaround time is equal to process finish time minus process arrival time. Okay, so this is turnaround time. For example, process P1 comes at the 2 second and it completes at the 20 second. So 20 minus 2, which is equal to 18, it is the turnaround time of process P1. Okay, so this is the turnaround time is equal to process finish time minus process arrival time. The next one is waiting time. So it is total time duration spent by a process waiting in ready queue. As we all know that all processes cannot simultaneously run in the CPU. At a time, only one process is executing in the CPU. So there are there are so many processes in the ready queue. So the total time duration spent by a process waiting in this ready queue is called waiting time. Okay, waiting time is equal to turnaround time minus actual execution time. So for example, the previous one, we discussed that the turnaround time is 18 seconds. We already calculated turnaround time for particular example. Let us see that. Now, the process P1 comes at 2 seconds, but it completes at 20 seconds. So the turnaround time will be 18 seconds. But as we know that this process P1 actually need only 15 seconds to complete its task. So it requires only 15 seconds. So it means that 18 minus 15, 3 seconds it will be waiting in the ready queue. So it had done waiting in ready queue for 3 seconds. So this is the time duration spent by a process waiting in ready queue is called waiting time. So here is the answer is 3 seconds. Turnaround time 18, actual execution time 15, so 18 minus 15. Okay, the next one is response time. So it is the time between issuing a command, or we can say that request, and getting output or result. So this is the most important criteria in the interactive system. User requests should be served as quickly as possible. Okay, so this is response time, means the issuing command, time between issuing command and receiving a response. So the response time should be minimum as soon as possible. It will respond to the user. The next one, here user requested are given more priority compared to background system processes. For better performance of the system, CPU utilization and throughput should be maximized, while turnaround time, waiting time and response time should be minimized. So here is the overall which value must be maximized and which value must be minimized. So the CPU utilization, throughput should be maximized, while turnaround time, waiting time and response time should be minimized. So these are the very important performance criteria while we are discussing about performance of the system and when we are doing scheduling. So let us discuss now how this criteria will be used further in the various types of scheduling algorithm. But before, we have to understand what is preemptive scheduling and what is non-preemptive scheduling. Preemptive means we are doing forcibly something on the processes, and non-preemptive, it means that we have not to forcibly instruct process to release the CPU. So let us understand it. The first is non-preemptive scheduling. So here one process is selected to execute. Then it is allowed to run until voluntarily enters into the wait state or gets terminated. So here the word voluntarily is most important word in non-preemptive scheduling. So the scheduling not forcibly taken CPU from it. If the process voluntarily enters into the wait state or gets terminated, then and then CPU becomes free. So scheduling takes place only under two of the above cases. The first, that is, it is either going into wait state or it is terminated. In this cases, only scheduling takes place. So this scheduling algorithm is simple, but it is not efficient. And in that, we do not require timer or clock interrupt. The next one is scheduling algorithm. It means after some time duration, we are taking CPU from the process and we are assigning CPU to another process. Or we can say that after some duration, CPU release that processes and it will go into either ready state, and CPU select, scheduling algorithm select another process to execute in the CPU. So here one process is selected to execute, then it is allowed to run only for some maximum time duration that is fixed by some scheduling algorithm. After that duration, another process is selected to execute. So in above cases, scheduling take place. That either it completed or some maximum amount of time duration is complete. So it is very efficient algorithm, but however it is also complex algorithm, and it also requires timer and clock interrupt. Okay. So when we are understanding various scheduling algorithm like first come first serve, round robin scheduling algorithm, these are the name of the scheduling algorithms. Then shortest job first, So when we are understanding that algorithm, we need to know that either it is a preemptive or it is a non-preemptive, and how it gives us the better output. Means the performance criteria that we discussed here, that what is the turnaround time for that algorithm, what is the waiting time, then what is the response time. This is the important. Okay, so this is all about various performance criteria and preemptive versus non-preemptive scheduling algorithm. Thank you.